Well, since 2020, Kane has scored 10 knockout stage goals at major tournaments. That is more than any other player. And he said that's the reward for all the hard work he's put in throughout his career.
That's why you do all the work behind the scenes, you know, the things that you guys don't see when we're training, when we're at home, doing recovery, doing ice fast, doing treatment, all those little details that make you be consistently at the highest level for as long as possible. And you know, those guys like Messi and Ronaldo, they're the pinnacle of that. So, yeah, me now, I'm feeling as good as I've ever felt. And ultimately, when I get onto the pitch, I know all the work I've done behind the scenes will make me ready for big moments. And that's exactly what happened out there today.
Well, I think we all knew, Kevin, how great he was. But it's moments like last night, isn't he, when he hauls you out from the fire and effectively single-handedly wins the game for England, that you start to really ask the question, is he England's greatest ever?
Well, I mean, there's not many who can argue against it. That's what I will say. And it just sums him up. You see it there, there's movement for the first one. You know, that's not by accident. It's a lovely ball in, you know, just put into an area. But he comes off the back of the centre half and his head, you know, he just, you can tell he just trains and he just thrives on goals. The second one is unbelievable. There's not many people who can do that, but that's just something which is not ingrained in it. That's practice and practice and practice. And when you ever watch him and when you see behind the scenes, you see him always doing his drills and his finishing drills and his penalties and everything else. He's perfectionist. And if you watch that second goal, at no point does he look at the goal. He's just eyes on the ball. He's got his eyes on the ball. He knows exactly where he is in the box. He knows all the coordinates, if you like, everything where he is, and he lets rip. And there's no goalkeeper going to save it. But listen, I just think he's an incredible player. I'm delighted that he's English. And he's our talisman, isn't he? You know, he's our Messi, as he's just said there. You know, he's the one who looks up to them, who've took it to new levels, and you can see he's done that. Certainly since he's gone to Germany, he's gone again to a new level, I think. So, yeah, delighted that he's with us, and hopefully he can keep firing us into the next rounds and the final rounds.
Well, it seems like he's passing a record or two every game at the moment, but Bridgie, he's after another as well.
Oh, do you know what? Well, I first saw him when he was 19, Barnet against Tottenham 11 in a pre-season friendly. And I used to watch all the reserve games at Spurs and that. I remember saying to my dad, I'm not sure about him. And
those his players, obviously.
Yeah. But then he had a number of loans in the EFL, and there was that famous picture of Harry Kane sitting next to Jamie Vardy at Leicester, and you know, them both not coming on. And then, you know, under Pochettino, then sort of Tim Sherwood gave him a debut, you know, because Tim will be watching. Oh, don't you worry, Tim. And then Pochettino gave him a run, and he has literally never looked back since. He's just a phenomenal guy, phenomenal talent, and he's looking to become the first player to win the Golden Boot twice. But he's got some stiff competition. Kylian Mbappe is also looking to do the same thing after winning it in 2022. So Kane there on 5 goals alongside Erling Haaland, Mbappe out in front with 6, and of course Lionel Messi on 6 as well, Matt.
One word, who's going to win the Golden Boot? Put you on the spot.
I'm going to hopefully say Kane.
OK, good. Well, I mean, it's whoever goes furthest is going to have the best chance. So they rely on their team, don't they? Next for England is Mexico in the last 16. Kane may be heading into the match in the best form of his life, but England do have mounting injury concerns. Here's our football correspondent Rob Dorset in Atlanta.
Let me throw some Harry Kane stats your way. 84 goals for his country, 13 goals in World Cups now. He's suddenly 3 beyond Gary Lineker, who held that record before. 5 goals in 4 games here in the US at this World Cup. He's now 1 behind Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe for the race for the Golden Boot. Thomas Tuchel was asked after the game what those 3 forwards have in common. He said they're all sharks who smell blood, which I think is pretty apt for Harry Kane right now. He's on that rich a vein of form where he's absolutely vital for England's chances in this tournament. The thing that's beyond his and Thomas Tuchel's control right now are the injuries, and that's the concern. Seeing Declan Rice labouring at right back at the end of the match here in Atlanta was a real concern. We know that Jarrell Quansah's got problems. We know that also Reece James is going to be longer out. Will either of those be back and ready and available for this game in Mexico City? And that's a step up for England, isn't it? Mexico, in Mexico City, at altitude, a real challenge, especially when you consider the hosts have only lost in the Azteca Stadium twice in their entire history.
Yeah, right back, all of a sudden, has gone from a position of real strength to a real concern at this World Cup. As Rob mentioned there, Declan Rice played the end of the game at right back. He actually did pretty well, didn't he? Would you start him there against Mexico?
No, I don't think you can start your best midfielder in a different position. Listen, Declan can play there and he'll probably be your best right back because he can play anywhere. I've worked with the lad for a number of years. I think he's gone to a new level, but he's our best midfielder. So we can't start putting our best midfielder at right back to fill gaps. What we've got to do is Thomas has got to trust what the people he took, and he picked, you know, Quansah, he picked Reece James, who we knew had lots of problems beforehand, and the next one is obviously Jed Spence. So he's got to put trust in him, because what does that say to him for the rest of the tournament if he doesn't play him and plays a midfielder at right back? So for me, no, it's a worry. Don't get me wrong, because you know we've seen Jed Spence and I think he struggled at times last night. But you've got to put your trust in your squad at that moment in time.
So would you go Spence rather than bringing Stones in, putting him at centre back and putting Quansah at right back?
That's an opportunity. I think that's an opportunity where Quansah has played there a lot for Aston Villa at times. I think if we were looking to sort of shore up the back four, I'd sort of listen. My first pick would always be Reece James. I think he's a phenomenal player. The problem is obviously his injury record and whether he's going to be fit enough. And obviously at that altitude, it's going to be a lot tougher for him as well. So that's the worry. But yeah, that's another way of doing it. I certainly think that Stones coming into that back four will certainly, you know, strengthen it and tighten it up for us. It's just how fit is he and how ready is he to go. But knowing him with his experience, I think he will be okay.
And just going back to Declan Rice, who everyone will expect to start in the midfield, he came off again, didn't he, yesterday? You've worked with him, you know him very well. When you look at him, does he look 100% fit to you at the moment?
The thing is with Declan, I think even if he had a broken leg, he'd want to go and play football still. He'd be out there trying to kick the ball and trying to run on it. He's just that type of lad. He wants to train every day, he wants to play every game, he wants to do it. I remember it, and he had an unbelievable desire to play every game. I remember when we first got into Europe and he didn't play, and we were having a chat, and I was saying, you know, relax, you know, you've got a big game on Sunday and Thursday and you'll have an opportunity. He's like, no, I want to play every game. So that's what he is. He's got that desire. So I think he is probably, you know, he will be carrying knocks, but they all will. You know, you do. As a footballer, you always have these slight little problems with, you know, tendons, with maybe a little tight hamstring, and you've just got to manage it. And that's what he's done. He's done it for years. I think what we're seeing is that, you know, we've got a team who have not quite reached where we believe they can at this moment in time. And I think that's why we're sort of scrutinising on him. And Thomas will be looking after him. He went 2-1 up. All he did is he wanted to shore the back four up, and I've got no problem with that.
But the good news for Thomas Tuchel going into this World Cup was Germany had a winter break, and you can see it with Harry Kane. There have been international times before where Harry's had an ankle injury, a hamstring injury for Tottenham Hotspur, and sometimes you could kind of see it sometimes. Now he looks sharp. He looks like he wants to beat anyone. He'll score every time. Whereas Declan Rice, who for me, I say it all the time, but I remember doing it here 3 years ago, he's turned out to be a £100 million bargain for Arsenal Football Club. But he played in a lot of games last season, even like Carabao Cup, first leg, semi-final first leg, semi-final second leg, all those games as well. But as you say, he'd play with a broken leg, as Kev said.
Yeah, he just keeps going, doesn't he? We've got loads more England reaction to come.